Hey guys, Sublord here, back again with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the DC Multiverse Collector Edition Mirror Master from The Flash. He's of course one of The Flash's bigger bad guys, more prominent members of his rogues gallery, something like that, along with the likes of Captain Cold, Captain Boomerang, a lot of captains. And is it the Trickster, who we don't have a figure of, I don't think at all, at this point. So I guess that would round out like that quartet from Justice League Unlimited, which, spoiler alert, this is the Justice League Unlimited colored version. This is the standard version. There is a Platinum Edition classic repaint of this guy, but I'm going to pass on that because this is Mirror Master to me. Always has been, always will be. That said, this of course brought to us by the fine folks over at McFarlane Toys, who, despite their price hikes, rather unreasonable price hikes, will remain fine folks because this is actually a decent figure. So with that being said, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look, see it. All Mirror Master has to offer in terms of accessories. Got the collectible trading card there. It's all fine and dandy. Bio on the back. And we also get alternate hands to make him into the classic version. So we got trigger finger hands and fist hands in a flesh tone. So if you want to make this one the classic Mirror Master, you can. The colors aren't exact, but I don't think anyone really gives a crap. But we also have his two mirror guns with the green trigger finger hands on them, because that's how I will be displaying mine. And the Justice League Unlimited / modern version, the one we have here, is known for these, so that's cool. Said he also has a hockey puck display stand where you sing with all McFarlane Toys releases, and is it just me or is there a new DC logo on there? Is there? I know the Page Punchers we looked at the other day had it. But here he is, the Mirror Master. A figure that, for whatever reason, I couldn't order online other than from the McFarlane Toy Store, to which I say, F that. I'm not paying up front for stuff unless it's exclusive. However, I played the waiting game, and Mr. Brian, a.k.a. the old man, a.k.a. my dad, walked into Wally World, picking up groceries a couple weeks ago, and found this guy. He was the only one they had. Store south of here had Deathstroke, but I already had him coming in my pile of loot, so I guess. But at any rate, as far as his articulation goes, his head will look side to side. He will look up. He will look down. He will tilt side to side. This collar piece is a separate, like, floaty flap thing that just sits on him. Shoulders will pop out, back down. Got the beautiful butterfly. Swivel all the way around. Swivel at the bicep. Double elbow. Kind of gappy, but it's fine. It does have ball hinge wrists that will rotate, hinge, and swivel. I will say these green fists fairly tight. The trigger hand's not so much. As far as his diaphragm goes, he can lean back this far. He can lean forward this far. It's pretty smooth. It's not the tightest thing ever, but it's not the loosest. You can tilt that far and that far. You can twist up here, but you're not going to get a lot out of that, so I wouldn't even bother. You can rotate here, however. Have hips that will kick forward as much as the diaper will allow. These holsters don't actually work, but they are there. Woo. Kick out. Yeah, you don't want to stretch that. That's a pretty limited diaper. He does have a thigh cut. Double knee. His knee's kind of gappy. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is, I'm afraid. And then he does have a ball hinge ankle that will rotate, hinge, pivot, and does. Snap, crackle, pop, Rice Krispies, bitch. But that is Mirror Master in a nutshell. He is cool. I dig him. Am I the biggest Flash guy? No, absolutely not. I'm a Gotham City kid all day long, but this guy's pretty cool. He's going to look great with the other Flash rogues. Again, I think we need a Trickster. We do have the Page Punchers, Grodd, and Heat Wave, but maybe we could do with some updates on them. At least a Grodd. Like, it was a good gorilla sculpt before you call it a day, man. Jeez. So, with that being said, it's time now that we move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is good old Mirror Master alongside a fellow member of the Flash's Rogues Gallery, Captain Cold, aka Edward Snart. What a name for a villain, I must say. Kind of sounds like a combination of snort and fart, or sneeze and fart. Either way, what a name for a villain. And then we also have the Flash himself. This is Barry Allen from the Flashpoint Paradox Collectible Cyborg Wave. This was a Target exclusive a couple of years ago. They have since released a digital version of this figure with, I think it's like translucent gold boots or something. They called it Speed Force Flash. I never bought that version. I don't think it ever showed up around here. That said, I do believe they are going to release possibly a Silver Age Barry Allen and the Page Punchers. At least if that leak list I saw is correct. So hold your horses, don't overpay for this one on eBay. I'm sure the Page Punchers will at least come with some running hands and two fists, maybe. Hopefully they'll be the same size. Either way, I think Mirror Master scales quite nicely with these two. For what it's worth, you know, Barry Allen is on the Blue Beetle Booster Gold body, whereas Mirror Master is on, I think, the Speeding Bullets body, and Captain Cold is on the Page Punchers Captain Cold body, so he's pretty much got a body all to his own. Getting these two out of here. I really like this Captain Cold. I think he's a little underrated. Just a little bit, because he came out with the infamous Power Girl, which we all know how much money that was going for, and then a crap ton of them showed up here. Like that gosh darn Supergirl. So bringing in our two regulars, we got the Mythic Legion's Brother Manipulith right there, and the infamous Uncoated Spawn, who is about neck and neck with good old Mirror Master here. So with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and despite the fact that I am not the biggest Flash fan on the face of the planet, I have to say that good old Mirror Master here is a fine addition to our Flash Rogues Gallery. He, of course, joins the likes of good old Edward Snart. That still sounds like a combination of fart and snort. AKA Captain Cold, Gorilla Grodd, Captain Boomerang, and Reversed Flash. If we're talking classic stuff here, well, we don't exactly have a classic Gorilla Grodd, but I think the Page Punchers or Injustice ones are good enough. He's also just a really solid figure. You can make two different versions of this character with really just one figure if you're not going to be picky about the colors. I know the classic one tends to have a slightly brighter color palette, whereas this more modern, Justice League Unlimited era one, that's why I got it, FYI, is a little bit darker, but I think you could really do either or with either or. I don't think it's too big of a deal, but then again, I'm visually impaired, so what do I know? So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.